Good morning, TK Giraffes. So, as I promised, I'm going to do the mini Seder. I'm sorry we couldn't do it I couldn't see you at the meeting, but unfortunately, there was an outage at my area. My computer is not working. So, I'm going to share with you my Haggadah that I've made to show you that Passover comes in the spring. And see the tree and the flowers and the man gardening. And remember, friends, that Passover lasts for how many days? 8 days. And we read from our Haggadah at the Seder tonight. The Haggadah is the book for Passover, and Seder means order. So the next page is, we clean our homes and get rid of all the chametz for Passover, all the bread and all the muffins and pasta and all the things we don't eat. So we clean our homes, we vacuum, we wash the dishes, and after all that, we take our feather and spoon and our candle, and we look very carefully in all the corners to make sure all the chametz, the bread crumbs, are gone. And then we light the candles. So here, for Yom Tov, not for Shabbat, because tonight is Yom Tov. It means a Jewish holiday. So here are the candles. And I'm just going to pretend to light the candles. Then we sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Thank you, God, for the festival lights and for bringing our family and friends together to celebrate Pesach. Then, on Passover, we drink 4 cups of wine or grape juice at the Seder. So now we're going to lift our cup, and you can fill it with wine or grape juice. I'm going to do that tonight at my Seder with my family. And let's sing the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Thank you, God, for the grapes that grow to make wine for our holiday celebration. And then we have here the Seder plate. Now remember, friends, what's on our Seder plate? We have the egg, the beitzah that reminds us of that life goes around and around in a circle, or the life cycle. And we have the green vegetable, the parsley, in Hebrew karpas, which reminds us that Passover comes in the spring. We have the shank bone, the zroa, which means that God outstretched its arm over Egypt to protect the Jewish people while they were working so hard for Pharaoh in Egypt. Then we have the maror, the bitter herbs, which reminds us of the bitter times the Jewish people had while they were working for Pharaoh in Egypt and to build his cities. Then we have the yummy charoset, which is red and brown and purple, made from apples and cinnamon and nuts and wine or grape juice. And that reminds us of the glue or the mortar that the Jewish people used to put the bricks together to build Pharaoh's cities, the pyramids for him. Then in the middle we have the salt water, which represents the tears of the Jewish people when they were so sad. They were crying, working so hard for mean, cruel Pharaoh in Egypt. The next page is the parsley, and that we dip it in salt water. Now here I've glued on real salt to represent, and painted some blue water, represent the salt water. So let's pretend we're dipping our parsley in our water. We say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adama. Thank you, God, for the vegetables that grow in the ground. And then we take our matzah. The leader, the person who's leading the Seder, takes the middle piece of matzah and breaks it in half and hides it in an afikomen bag or holder, or has somebody hide it. And then we find it after the Seder and eat it for dessert. And afikomen, the word afikomen means dessert. Okay, friends, now let's sing the Manishtana. The first question. Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot. Mikol haleilot. Shebechol haleilot. Anu ochlin chametz umatzah. Chametz umatzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh kulo matzah. The second question asks about the bitter herbs. Shebechol haleilot anu ochlin she'ar yirakot. She'ar yirakot. Halayla hazeh maror ma'aror. Halayla hazeh maror ma'aror. The third question asks about dipping our vegetables. Shebechol haleilot ein anu matbilim afilu pa'am echad. Okay, friends, sorry. Back to the third question. Shebechol haleilot ein anu matbilim afilu pa'am echad. Afilu pa'am echad. Halayla hazeh shete ve'amim. Halayla hazeh shete ve'amim. And the last question asks about why do we lean on a pillow? Shebechol haleilot anu ochlin ben yoshvinu ven misubin. Ben yoshvinu ven misubin. Halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin. Halayla hazeh kulanu mesubin. So let's answer the 4 questions. Why do we eat matzah on Passover and not bread? Well, to remind us of when the Jewish people were in a hurry, when they were leaving Egypt, and Moses said, okay, Pharaoh said we can go, but we have to go in a hurry before he changes his mind. So they were gathering their belongings very quickly, and they were trying to bake bread, but they didn't have it, and when they put it on their backs, they didn't have enough time for it to rise. So it became flat like a cracker, and it was matzah. The second question, why do we eat bitter herbs on Passover when we don't eat them any other time in the year? To remind us of the bitter times the Jewish people had when they were working for Pharaoh in Egypt, building his pyramids and his cities for him. The third question, why do we dip our vegetables 2 times when on Passover when we don't even dip them 1 time at all during the year? To remind us of the tears. The salt water is the tears of the Jewish people when they were working for mean Pharaoh, building his cities and pyramids for him. The last question, why do we lean on a pillow at Passover, at the Seder, when we never do that any other time during the year to remind us that we are now free. We're not working for Pharaoh anymore, and we can do as we wish. So those are the 4 questions. So, and here are the Jewish people working so hard for Pharaoh, building his pyramids. And what is the shape of the pyramids? A triangle. Now remember, there was one Jewish lady. Her name was Yocheved, Jewish mother, and she wanted to keep her baby safe. So she put him in a basket down the Nile River and told her daughter Miriam to watch behind the bushes to make sure that he'll be safe. So she did. And one day, while Pharaoh's daughter Batya, which means daughter of the sea, was bathing down at the river, she heard a baby crying, or she heard a noise. She said, "What's going? Wee, wee, wee." And she said, "What is this noise?" And she said, "Oh, look, it's a Hebrew baby," because he was wrapped in a blanket with a Jewish star. So she took him out of the water. She said, "Oh, you're so cute. I'm going to name you Moses, because that means to take out of the water. And I'm going to take you back to the palace and ask my father Pharaoh if I can raise him in the palace." And he said yes. So Moses, he was raised in the palace. And one day he saw an Egyptian soldier hurting a Hebrew worker. And Moses said to that soldier, "Soldier, stop hurting the Hebrew worker." But he ignored Moses. And Moses got so angry, he picked up a rock from the ground and threw it at the Egyptian soldier. And he fell down and got very hurt. So Moses got scared. He said, "I must now go to the land of Midian, where I will become a shepherd and watch over the sheep." And one day, while Moses was watching over the sheep, he saw what he thought was a burning bush, a bush that was on fire. But all of a sudden he heard a voice, "Moses, come over here." Moses said, "What is that voice?" And Moses says, "It is I, the Lord your God, the God of Israel. Come here and kneel down before me. Take off your sandals. Go back to the land of Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let the Jewish people go." So Moses was shaking, and he said, "Okay, I will go back and I will do as you say." So we went back. And he went to Pharaoh, and Moses said, "Pharaoh, my Lord has spoken to me and said to tell you to let my people go." But Pharaoh said, "I don't know your Lord. Who is he?" "Oh, listen, oh, listen, oh, listen, King Pharaoh. Oh, listen, please let my people go. They work so hard all day. They want to go away. King Pharaoh, what do you say?" And Pharaoh said, "No, no, no. I will not let them go. No, no, no. I will not let them go." So Moses said, "Fine, Pharaoh. Then my Lord is going to send you punishments." He thought it was a joke. He said, "Okay, go ahead, Moses." So the Lord turned the Nile River into blood. It was all red for the Egyptians, and all the fish died for them. But for the Jewish people, the water was clear and the fish were fine. And Moses went back to Pharaoh and said, "Now, Pharaoh, will you let the Jewish people go?" He said, "No, it's not going to happen." Moses said, "Fine, then my Lord will send you more punishments." He said, "Go for it, Moses." So the next one was frogs. One morning when Pharaoh awoke in his bed, there were frogs on his head and frogs on his bed. Frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there. Frogs were jumping everywhere, even in his underwear. So Moses went back to Pharaoh and said, "Now will you let the Jewish people go?" Pharaoh said, "No way, it's not going to happen." And you know what? Moses said, "Fine. My Lord will keep sending you punishments until you let the Jewish people go." So the next punishment was, or plague, was lice, yucky bugs, all in the Egyptians' hair, and they were itchy, so itchy. And then the next was the wild beasts all over the Egyptians. And then the next one was sick cows everywhere. Oh. Then the next one was hard rain, hail. Hard rain coming down. Ow, ow. Balls of hard rain hurting the Egyptians all over their head and their bodies. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the one. That was the next one. The next one was boils. Silly teacher Rachel. Boils. Those big red bumps all over the Egyptians' bodies. Their faces and their bodies. And they hurt. Then the next one was the hail. The hard rain coming down on the Egyptians' heads. Ow. And the next one was locusts. Big bugs eating up the crops in the fields for the Egyptians so they wouldn't have food to eat. And the last one, finally, was darkness all over Egypt. Only for the Egyptians, not for the Jewish people, remember, because the Jewish people were not being punished. It was dark for the Egyptians for 3 whole days and 3 nights. And finally, Pharaoh said, "I've had enough, Moses. Take your people at once before I change my mind." So that's when Moses said, "Thank you, Pharaoh," and told the Jewish people, Pharaoh said we could leave. I have good news, but we must leave in a hurry before Pharaoh changes his mind. And that's when they were packing their belongings so quickly and trying to make bread, and put it on their backs, and the bread wouldn't rise. I'm a little matzah, flat and thin. Open your mouth and put me in. Baked in the desert by the sun. Pesach is coming, oh what fun. So they were going down to the sea. And Moses took his staff and hit it on a rock and put it up in the air and said, "Lord, please part the waters." And a miracle happened. The waters parted and all the Jewish people walked through onto dry land. And when they got to the other side where Israel was, they were so happy. They were clapping. They say, "Yay, we're free. We're free." But then all of a sudden, Pharaoh realized back in Egypt that he had no one to build his pyramids and cities for him. So he told his soldiers, "Go after the Hebrews at once and bring them back to build my pyramids." So they went on their chariots, on their horses, and they went trying to run after the Jewish people. So Moses took his staff from the other side from Israel and he hit it on the ground again and he put it up in the air and said, "Lord, please close the waters." And all of a sudden the waters closed. And the Egyptians could not get to the Jewish people. So the Jewish people were so happy, they sang Dayenu. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Ilu hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, from Egypt. Hotzianu mi Mitzrayim dayenu, which means it would have been enough if you would have taken us out of Egypt. Die, dayenu, die, dayenu, die, dayenu, 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 die, dayenu, die, dayenu, die, dayenu, dayenu, dayenu. So, back to the Seder. Then we show everyone about the egg and the bone. It says there are 2 other symbols on the Seder plate: the egg, which is another reminder of spring, and the bone that recalls the first celebration of Pesach. It also, the bone represents a lamb. And their first Pesach, Passover together, the Jewish people roasted a lamb and ate the lamb. So then we have the page where we wash hands before we have our meal. And we say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, Lord of the universe, who has made us holy through your commandments and inspired us to fulfill the mitzvot for the washing of the hands. Amen. Then before we eat the meal, we have some bitter herbs, and we can dip it into our charoset. Yummy. Then we say, here's the bitter herbs. We dip it into the charoset. Then we say the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Thank you, God, for maror, the bitter herbs, which reminds us of the bitterness of when Jewish people were in Egypt. Then you get to eat the meal, the yummy meal. Of course, you'll have matzah. Some people will have chicken soup and some meat, maybe some chicken, maybe some potato kugel or matzah kugel, some yummy things, and then some dessert. And then after the meal, you're all going to look for the afikomen. And the afikomen is hidden here. And then everybody takes a piece of the afikomen at the Seder and eats it for dessert, for the last thing. Then, after that, we have the Elijah's cup. Remember Elijah? He was a very special man and a rabbi. He was called the prophet because he was very special. So, towards the end of the Seder, we open the door for Elijah. And remember, we set a special wine cup for him and a place for him at the table. Now remember, Elijah was a very special and important man, and he was a rabbi and a teacher. And when the Jewish people in those days, they had questions or needed advice, they would go to Elijah, and he would help them with whatever problems they had, or issues, or concerns. And Elijah promised before he died, he passed away, that he would visit all the homes of the Jewish people all over the world on Passover. So this is the time when we sing for him. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Bimheira beyamenu, ya'avo aleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. Which means Elijah the prophet, Elijah the Tishbite, Elijah the Gileadite. Soon may he come, bringing with him the Messiah or Mashiach, the son of David. And then, after we drink our fourth cup of wine or grape juice, we do the last part, the Nirtzah, which is the conclusion. And then we say, L'shana haba'a b'Yerushalayim. It means next year we should all be in Jerusalem, in Israel. And then we can sing, and we end with the song, we can sing, Am Yisrael Chai. It means the nation of Israel lives. Am Yisrael Chai, Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu, Oda Vinu Chai. Oda Vinu Chai. So friends, I'm wishing you giraffes and families, parents, I'm wishing you all a very happy Passover. I hope you enjoy with your families and that you can have a Seder tonight and do the blessings that we've been doing. I taught you now, and sing some songs and be happy together. And don't forget to eat some matzah. Remember now, how long does Passover last? For 8 days. So you can eat matzah for 8 days. And we're not going to have bread, or try not to, but eat lots of matzah. All right, friends, so we will see you on Monday at our next meeting. Everyone, happy Passover, Chag Sameach, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care, giraffes. Bye-bye.